So I've always been very vocal about my abuse, but I think what made me talk out about it now on this documentary is that having seen or having noticed the ramifications that I've dealt with, and having interviewed all these people for this documentary, the ramifications are so vast and so deeply embedded in that human that's been through that, um, that I feel it's only my responsibility to produce a documentary such as this, and I can't opt and ask other people to talk out if I'm not willing to talk out myself. Um, so this is my first time talking out about it on camera publicly like this, and I'm doing this because I need other people, other victims, to see that they are not alone, that talking out about it can help. So I guess this documentary is not just cathartic for my own purpose, but there's a bigger purpose to try and get people to talk out about their own abuse, to lay charges, to not let these people get away with what they're getting away with. And I think if we all talk out as a society and band together, the stronger we are to combat a crime such as this. I think one of the important details about me actually starting this documentary, and it might sound obscure, but I listened to Linkin Park throughout my childhood. I was a huge Linkin Park fan, not just due to the music but the lyrics. They almost became anthems for my childhood. The words were just so pertinent to me, and I think at that time I didn't realize why. I didn't know the knowledge that Chester Bennington was in fact sexually abused himself as a child, which is where a lot of these lyrics actually came from. So as a child I always connected with these lyrics, and it was only much later that I realized and found out that Chester Bennington had been through sexual abuse, that then obviously inspired a lot of these lyrics. And in 2017, when he committed suicide, I didn't know him personally, but it affected me as if my own brother had died. And he released, last year they released Heavy, and if you listen to the lyrics of Heavy by Linkin Park, it is my life to a T. And when I found out that he committed suicide, and knowing that a lot of the mental ramifications came from his own childhood sexual abuse, it hit home for me so personally and so hard that I cried. I wrote an article about how Chester Bennington's suicide actually affected me, and it got quite a bit of publicity both in South Africa and overseas. And I was sitting there one day and I was talking to my wife, and I got so angry with the fact that post Chester's suicide there was all this hype around why he committed suicide, the ramifications that his childhood abuse had, and then what? A week or 2 weeks later, it's out the news and no one's talking about it anymore. And I sat there and I kept thinking, like, everyone's forgotten about Chester already. It's the next article, it's the next story. That's why nothing's ever changing, because we're allowed to blow up in the media and we all talk about it out of gossip. We talk about it because it's news, it's interesting, it's macabre. But then we're on to the next news story, and no action and no call to actions actually happened. So I wanted this documentary to not only stir change and cause change, but to prolong the sense of urgency for change. So Chester Bennington, I can honestly say, he's not the only reason, but he's most certainly a major factor in me sitting here today doing this documentary, because we can't lose any more people.